Donc, bienvenue aux Utopiales 2017. Aujourd'hui, nous rencontrons Suddain, qui est l'auteur du Théâtre des Dieux, qui a été publié aux éditions du Diable Vauvert. Donc, bonjour à vous. Merci beaucoup d'avoir accepté de répondre à quelques questions. Dans un premier temps, est-ce que vous pourriez vous présenter qu'est-ce que vous faites, comment votre œuvre, votre carrière?
We are really pleased to be with you now. And at first, could you please introduce yourself a little bit and about your career, the books you wrote, and
Sure,
so on?
sure. Well, I'm from New Zealand. I was born in New Zealand, and I grew up on a small farm there. I started writing from a very young age. As long as I can remember, I was writing stories every single day. Mainly because in New Zealand, especially at that time, there wasn't a lot else to do. There was almost no TV. We didn't even have a video store, certainly no internet. So really, reading and writing was my thing. It's either that or become an All Black, basically. So I worked very hard and became a journalist, and then we went. My wife and I went on a world trip and took a whole year and travelled around Asia and settled in London, so that I could see about breaking into publishing. New Zealand was a very small market, so London was an attractive way to see if the things that I was writing had any kind of market. And it turns out, yeah, it was a very quick process. We were going to try it we had a 5-year plan. Yeah, let's just see if we can break into publishing here. And it took much less than that. So I was very lucky. I wrote when I got here, I wrote a book. I set myself a target of 1 month. I had obviously a lot of notes from over the years, a lot of reading. So for a first book, it was, let's take a month and let's get up every day at 4 a.m. and then work till the early afternoon, take a nap or go for a walk, go back to your desk, work till 10. So it was 16, 17 hour days, just writing and getting this thing down. And it turns out, I mean, it nearly killed me, but as a strategy for writing the first book, it was quite effective. I sent the first 50 pages off and attracted an agent with it, and it took hours, literally hours, to get a reply from an agent. They ended up representing me and took the book out, and Jonathan Cape in London, a very good, prestigious old publisher, picked it up. They took 2 books off me, so this is the first one, Théâtre des Dieux, and my second one, Hunters and Collectors, it was the second one with Jonathan Cape, came out just last year, and that will be eventually translated into French as well. So it's very exciting.
Okay, so the first book you wrote was a long novel, not a short.
Quite long. Yeah, it's 600 pages. It's a meaty, and there's I look back on it now as a sort of a project that was coming out of my childhood, and it was almost like when it's everything you've ever read as a kid. Every idea that's ever gone into your head has a chance of re-emerging. Every book you loved, and everything you ever thought about, every idea that you ever had, pours into this one project. So that's your first book, and so it is a very big, sprawling space opera with many themes, maybe too many, I don't know. Several million characters.
It seems to.
Yeah. Have you read much of it yet?
Not yet, but I read the resume and.
It's very elaborate. There's a lot.
It seems to be huge.
It is, but it talks about very simple themes, which is how do you put it? the crushing of the human spirit under the weight of cosmological time, which means we've been around for almost no time in the history of the universe, and the universe has been around for 14 billion years, and we've really been a species for 200,000 years, and yet we have this ego state where we somehow still feel that like we're special, or that we're chosen, that we are God's creatures, when we're really just this little drama that has come along at this tiny little point in time, means probably nothing in the whole scheme of things and will vanish. It's what the universe is and what we are in it is very different too. But the idea that you preserve this ego state is very important, because otherwise we'd all just, I don't know, jump off bridges with our heads in the oven. It's that existential dilemma of knowing that the universe is probably meaningless, and at least in the sense of we aren't gods incarnate ourselves, and still being able to get up in the morning and push the boulder up the hill. So in putting it together, I imagined these great states of cosmic time, these huge expanses, and then I tried to imagine the small human drama unfolding in the middle of it, and that's where the title Theatre of Gods comes from. It's in trying to imagine what it was like to look at something with the eyes of a god, which authors, we like to imagine gods.
And about that, what are your influences and inspirations? Because this first book is really, this book is really big, and with a lot of characters and so on. So,
it formally, in terms of its form, it was inspired by adventure books that I read when I was a kid, the first fantasy books I read, the first science fiction books that I read, the ancient Greek myths. I mean, the Odyssey was something that when I first read it, I thought was, just as a kid, it was just, this is miraculous, this is actually modern. Like, it starts right in the middle of the story like an action movie, and it's got action stars in it and monsters, and it was just, it was everything I wanted at that time. So as a kind of a formal idea, those are Robert Louis Stevenson and others like that are very, very important. But they're only kind of the surface. In my teenage and later years, when I started to read people like Franz Kafka and Jorge Luis Borges, the Argentinian writer, he is probably more responsible for what actually lies underneath the book of French existentialists and people that, when you're an annoying teenager, you read them, you absorb all this stuff, and when you're, I hope, slightly less annoying grown up, it becomes useful to you because you apply it to your life and to your work. There's one story by Borges, which I think is called The Secret Miracle, about a man in front of a firing squad. I won't go into a short interview. I won't go into depth about the story now, but that was probably more than anything. That's what the book was about. Borges could do that. He could write a story that's like 4 pages long and say more than most novels say. And just pack an intense amount of ideas and knowledge into it, and secret clues that. Clues were very important to me writing that book. There's lots of secret little nods to things. There's whole storylines that are based on weird 1970s television shows and references to things that no one will care about. It was important to me to load the book up with those kinds of things, because when you discover them, you feel it feels good to pick up those little clues as a reader.
But you are more inspired about books than any other media?
No, I would say that I'm probably read less than the average author, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I like movies and I like television, I like playing games, you know, I like talking to people. I like listening to people tell stories about the things that they love most, even if it's, I don't know, so I talked to some guy who makes his own kayaks.
Mm-hmm.
I could listen to him talk about that for hours. It's someone who's passionate about a very small thing, a craft that no one else, not like me, anyone else who does the same thing. Hearing him talk about what's involved in building a kayak, it's fascinating. Yeah. I would much rather have spent an hour with him listening to him talk than just about any book that I've read.
Mm-hmm.
Almost any book.
And your favorite book, maybe, if you have one, except the ones you write yourself.
Except my own. what kind of arrogant fool would I have to be to say, all my books? Yeah, I really like my own books. Let me think. Favorite books of the classics.
Mm-hmm.
Probably I would say Don Quixote. It's just the most. It's an unstoppable force, that book. In modern times, Borges and Kafka, obviously, they're the big ones. Lately, the book that's probably moved me most would be there's an author called Michael Faber. He wrote a book called Under the Skin, which got made into a movie. Very, very strange but amazing sci-fi movie called Under the Skin. Scarlett Johansson. But he also made, he wrote a book called The Book of Strange New Things about a missionary, a Christian missionary to another planet. It's a very big, dense book, but it's just utterly delightful. It's perfect. And I think Amazon are making a series out of it called Oasis, which looks great. Yeah. I think there's so many.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you have to pick only one.
Only one book?
Only one book.
Probably Quixote, but I mean it's cliched to say complete works of Shakespeare, but I've got a tremendous amount out of that.
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably say that. The Bible's a perfectly written book.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much in it. It's an anthology of the kind of the emergence of a Western way of thinking in a way. It's quite. I really, even for as an atheist, I really enjoy reading it. But one book, I can never answer that question properly either because it fills me with panic.
I can understand.
I want to be able to say my Kindle.
Thank you very much for all these answers. But do you have any upcoming projects you can tell us about?
My new book, Hunters and Collectors, will be translated into French now officially. So there'll be a second book. It's not a series. It's not part of the series. So Théâtre des Dieux is a standalone book. But Hunters and Collectors probably in the next 2 years will come out. We're just starting to translate it now. I've got a young adult book coming out in 2019. Not sure if it will be translated into French yet.
We'll see.
Yeah. I've got a non-fiction book about the Yeti, which I'm quite excited about. It's a fascinating subject. But do you have another 20 minutes?
Could we speak about that maybe the next time you come in?
Maybe there'll be a book by then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you never know. There might actually be something solid I can talk about. But first, a holiday.
At least, what do you think of France and
beautiful?
Suddain?
It's just beautiful in this town. It's just, I think I'm just going to come back just for the sake of it. It's a beautiful town. I found you probably know, but I found a butcher and a barber they're together, and they have, you know it? They've got all the animals, so they have animal heads like a pig's head, and they have lovely flying wings on.
I hear about that.
Yeah, I just had to stop in the street and just start laughing. People were stopping and going, what's he doing? I don't know why it really tickled me, but a pig with a long flowing blonde hair, it really got me. Yeah, beautiful town. I camped here in Brittany several years ago and had the time of my life. It reminded me of camping in New Zealand. Everyone was friendly, everyone was just talking. Your kids would just come up and say, Monsieur, and then something. When's the bouncy castle opening? I'd have to go. I'm sorry, little girl. I don't speak French or know anything about bouncy castles. Yeah, that was fantastic. Love France. Hopefully, I'd like to spend a lot of time here, but I have to practice my French.
Thank you very much. But maybe next time you could speak French fluently and. Yeah, I'll try. I've got my app. You are welcome.
Okay. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup. It's a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you very much.